It is Eddie Alvarez. The Underground King is back. He is headlining Knucklemania 5 on Saturday, January 25th, live on DAZN. But I would dare to say, more importantly than live on DAZN for you, Eddie, it's live at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, right? I mean, how exciting is that for you to get to fight in front of your hometown in Philly?
It honestly doesn't get any better. It's a bucket list for me. I've been trying to get promotions to go there throughout my career, pretty much every time I became champion of an organization or whatever I was doing. I was trying to get them to come to Philadelphia and be able to fight in front of my hometown, but I've only got to do it once ever. So super, super excited that Bare Knuckle was able to do that.
Yeah, you found the perfect partner, right? David Feldman, a Philly guy as well. That was an easy sell for him.
I told him, I said, when I originally joined Bare Knuckle, my biggest value to the company is I wanted to deliver Philadelphia. So we had some red tape to get past with the licensing and stuff like that. And once that got done, we knew right away we were headed to the Wells Fargo.
That's awesome, man. So let me ask you first, because you touched on it, only fought there once, which I find incredible. More than 14 years ago. I mean, 2010, Roger Huerta, Bellator. Yeah. I mean, do you remember that night? Like, was it a special energy? Was it a different feel for you that evening?
It is. I mean, you got the whole spirit of Philadelphia, the fans. Like, I have local friends, family who never, I've been fighting overseas a large portion of my career. Just friends and family who never been able to make it to a live event. And especially now, I've been all over the world fighting. So to be able to bring that back home, and what's special about it is I started my career, in Philadelphia with no gloves. And to come back to Philadelphia and take the gloves off, it's definitely a unique moment for me, and I'm excited.
That's awesome, man. Now, here the only bad part about fighting at home, right? You got the ticket requests and people want to come see you and hang out. Hey, man, can you hook me up? What time are you fighting? Have you got a plan to handle all that yet?
Honestly, I just don't deal with it. I go to Ticketmaster, go to wellsfargo.com and get your tickets. When I first started fighting, I used to have to sell tickets to make money. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be able to, in the beginning of your career, you get paid a large portion off of how many tickets you sell. And I had to let people know, like, hey, that's not how I get paid anymore. That definitely was the beginning of my career, but I don't rely on that too much anymore. Just please, if you can get your ticket and come out, man, I'd love to have everyone there.
That's awesome, man. Well, by the way, you said it, Ticketmaster.com, WellsFargo.com. Ticket sales are looking good. I know David Feldman has come out and said, hey, I think we're going to have 18,000 in the building. The UFC back in 2009 did 17,411. What would it mean for you to be like, yo, Eddie Alvarez on the headline? I broke the UFC record in that building.
I think we beat it. I think it'll be very, because I asked Dana and I asked UFC to go to Philadelphia, and that was I became champion. I asked them to go to Philadelphia and they never did, but they did go. And they went on the same day that I signed with One Championship. So my first debut with One Championship, they ironically went to Philadelphia and did a show there. And I was bitter about that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, man, that was cold. I think they had Justin Gaethje and Edson Barboza headline it. Yeah. So I definitely was bitter about that when it happened, and to come back to bring the BKFC to Wells Fargo and beat their numbers, I think it'd be it'd be fun to do.
It would indeed. All right, let's talk about we talked about your fight. Obviously, you got an opponent on the other side, Jeremy Stephens. Stylistically, I like this fight a lot. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. But I wonder for you, has this thing gotten a little bit personal? Because man, the press conference, I thought you guys were going to be like two old school veterans with a lot of respect for each other. You're going to go out there. It got a little chippy there at the press conference. So has this turned into a little bit of a grudge match for you?
I did too. And he's managed by my same agent. Like, we're managed by the same people. So I thought it'd be more like a Chad Mendes thing, like respectful, but he went full heel, and I'm like, oh man. And it would have been better. It would have been better for him if he said stuff about me. But he went in on Philadelphia, and I can get over you saying shit about me. I've been in that part of the sport, but the fans are gonna want me to end him pretty badly. So I got, I'm glad to be that guy, and I'm glad to carry that weight and walk into the tunnel and eliminate him in front of my city, because that's what they want. So you got to give them what they want.
I love that, man. Well said. I know at the press conference you said you hadn't watched him compete a lot. In the time since, have you gone back and watched, or does the tape even matter outside of BKFC work? Or I mean, what have you thought in breaking him down?
Yeah, tape always matters. I haven't watched a lot of Jeremy Stevens fights. He's an exciting fighter, but I don't know if he hasn't been on top of the bill of a lot of cards. So I don't, like, as a fan of the sport, I'm same as everyone else, watch the main card. So um I think we've watched his last couple, because I don't really go back too far when I watch tape, because people evolve, they get better. And I got to watch his bare knuckle fights. I think he had one with Jimmy Rivera, who I did a training camp with for Chad Mendez. So I got a really good comparable there. It looked like Jimmy was beating him up pretty good before Jeremy cut him. And then he fought another, another veteran, older, real big, muscle bound guy. And he took him all 5-5s. But that was a good fight too. It was a lot of footage for me to watch for Jeremy. But I'm expecting the best Jeremy. He should show up good. He did really good against Jose Aldo when he boxed Jose Aldo. So I respect him, but the way I've been training and the hours I'm putting in and the sparring sessions I'm putting in, it's not about Jeremy or anybody else. Whoever comes out the other side the night of the 25th will be in trouble. This is not personal. It's whoever it
To hear
is.
that. What has been? It's been about a year since we got to see you compete. What's been the focus? What has been the approach during the time away from competition?
Slowly and surely, like, I've been able to, we started a facility, like a performance institute, and it was not far from my house. I teamed up with a guy named Jim Worthington, owner of the Newtown Athletic Club, and we created like a 20,000 square foot performance institute. So we built that, and it's basically gave me something close to home to be able to bring my coaches there and my training partners there. It kind of consolidated my training, where I didn't have to do all this driving. And then kind of looking to train the next group of champions coming in. It's a pretty awesome deal going on in Bucks County, PA. And besides that, the last 3-4 months, just preparing for this return. I took a year off, let my face heal. My face, my orbital was broken, so I let that heal up good. Didn't do too much sparring at all. Just did fitness stuff, and then returned to play about 4 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, and really started putting in the hours.
That's awesome, man. Since you brought it up, the Newtown Performance Institute, I've seen it on social media. Looks like a pretty awesome facility, right? And so your training is there. You're training pros as well if they want to, but also you're training the public as well, right? Looks like you got some awesome kids programs and some family programs. It looks like a great place.
Yeah, like 90% of the people who go there are just fans of the sport or fans of boxing. About 5-10% of our people are actually fighters. You know what I mean? People who want to pursue fighting. My job is to build the fight team, to create the next UFC, bare knuckle, or PFL, Bellator, the next champions of the world. That's going to be my job, build that elite fight team. But I'm bringing in my coaches and my trainers who have 20-30 years experience, and kind of help the general public as well. Like, learn the sport, know about the sport, and teach it in a way that's like, I'm passionate about fighting. I love fighting. And I'm a very attention to detail type fighter. So I really like the role in jumping in kids classes, jumping in regular classes, and kind of teaching the fine tuning of MMA.
That's awesome, man. No better teacher than you, man. You've seen and done it all. Is that kind of the next phase of your career? Or do you still feel like there's a lot of fights? I know this is a big moment, obviously headlining at home, but do you see a lot of other big moments on the horizon? Do you feel like, I'm kind of getting towards the end of it? Like, how do you see your fighting future?
for the last 5 years or so, I've been slowly kind of, I mean, fight twice, 3 times a year, 2 times a year, 1 time a year, 1 time a year. But just slowly weaning and doing more of life, find out who I am outside of fighting. But I'll always fight. You know what I mean? Especially they're here in Philadelphia now. I'm always be. I'll always have my name in the hat. I don't think there's going to be a time where my name's not in the hat. Especially if there's live events going on in Philadelphia. So even if I'm retired, I'm never quite retired.
Some guys are just fighters at heart, man. That's definitely you. Hey, you talk, fighting all over the world. I mean, you've literally fought for the biggest promotions in the world, all over the world. BKFC, what they've got going on right now, man, it's been some exponential growth the last couple of years. What is it I mean, you've seen what everybody's done, the rights, the wrongs, the goods, the bads. What is it do you think that is working for BKFC? Like, why is it appealing to people right now? And we're seeing this growth and attention that we're getting.
Well, I think in the beginning, just like I compare it to Bellator, a lot of the beginning is about staying alive and doing something different. These two factors are like everything. You have to do something a little different, not try to be the UFC or, talk down on the UFC and say you're better than. So there's a couple key factors that play, but like be something different and also stay alive. Don't spend too much money. Don't overspend. Keep your expenses low. Try to do as many shows as possible, but be smart and keep the number one thing first, which is, hey, we have to eventually make money. You could be well known and everybody knows who you are tomorrow, but if you spent, $100 million in that year, that ain't gonna mean anything. You're just well known and broke. So they did a real good job staying alive over the past, I don't know, they've been around 7 years now or something like this. Staying alive, doing local live shows. Even if they just made a little bit of money on the local shows, they're still making a little bit of money. And even the shows with me and Mike Perry, they kept their budgets in line. They negotiated well with the fighters, myself included. And, I think bringing on Conor McGregor's, the Conor McGregors of the world, myself. And I think me, Chad Mendez, Mike Perry, and Luke Rockhold, that event, I think that event itself was a turning point for BKFC because I looked around the ring after that fight and it was like, Kamaru Usman, Justin Gaethje, Conor McGregor, Cowboy Cerrone. We were entertaining the most entertaining fighters in the world. In one night, we did that, and I looked around the ring and I went, "Man, this is something. This is going to be something special." As long as they could bring on athletes like me and Chad, who can bring some professionalism to the sport, do interviews in a way and make it competitive, not too scrappy. That this thing can take off, and they've been doing that.
Well, you've been a smart observer, man. That's some smart advice there for anybody trying to make it in the game. Well, listen, big moment. That was a turning point, I think, and I think this is going to be a big one as well. It's Knucklemania V. It's Saturday, January 25th. I'm expecting fireworks here, man. I love the matchup since it was first announced. What do you think we see here? Is this thing going to be a war? Do you think you can dominate? I mean, what are you expecting in this one?
I say, oh yeah, I'm gonna go in there and do this and do. I'm gonna get hit a little bit. I'm gonna hit him a little bit, and I think eventually he won't be able to deal with it. It's gonna be too much volume, too much power, too much pressure, and with the city behind me and the work I put in, the preparation I put in, it's just gonna be too much. Like I said, it has zero to do with Jeremy. It's going to be anybody. If Jeremy gets replaced last minute or whatever, whoever it is, that's who it is.
I love it, man. There is something special about a Philadelphia fight crowd. I can say that. And with Eddie Alvarez in there in a Philadelphia fight crowd, it's going to be even better. So, Eddie, appreciate the time as always, and we will see you in January.
I thank you, big dog.